sharp as they sometimes can be. But we're going to start looking at some targets and doing some live imaging. So first target we're going to have a look at is M51. We had a look at this one the other night, but if you missed it, this is a really good target to look at. It's a pair of galaxies, so not just one galaxy, two galaxies together, and they're interacting. It's better known as the Whirlpool Galaxy, and it's located in the constellation Canis Venatici, and that's the constellation of the hunting dogs, quite near to Ursa Major. Now this is quite a large galaxy. It's 60,000 light years in diameter, and remembering that a light year is about 6 trillion miles, that's pretty big. Not as big as our own galaxy, the Milky Way. About half the size. So let's just have a look at this one. There it is, as you might be able to see it with the naked eye, and what we're seeing there are just the two bright cores of the two interacting galaxies. And what we'll do now is we will do some live stacking and bring out some of the detail. So here we go. Now I hope everyone's seeing this okay tonight. I'm recording this. I'm not trying to do it live. Mobile hotspot signal's just not good enough for this kind of thing. So let's make sure I've got you nicely aligned in the screen so we can see the target. Yep, there it is. So this pair of galaxies are 23 million light years away. So it might be very big, but it's a long way away. And there you are. Straight away we're starting to see some of the detail in the galaxies. You can see the larger galaxy, M51, big face-on spiral. Smaller galaxy next to it is known as NGC 5194. NGC just stands for New General Catalogue. And these are interacting, as I said. It's about 100 billion stars there, and you probably see this is starting to look like a comma or a number 9, and you might be able to see a wispy cloudy link between the two down the bottom right there, linking the top one with the smaller bottom one. Really nice spiral galaxy face onto us. So let's see. So as I say, we're stacking some images. We're taking 30-second images at a time, stacking them one on top of another to really improve the detail. So far we've stacked 3 30-second images, and that's all it's taken for us to get this nice amount of detail that we're seeing now. Just adjusting the view so we can see everything we want to see, and there it is, looking really pretty. So with the naked eye you don't really get to see a lot of detail in this, except under extremely good conditions, but you certainly with a normal everyday telescope you wouldn't get to see this sort of detail. So we'll let that take maybe one more, and then we'll move on to another target. Quite a nice evening here tonight. I'm at 2,263 meters altitude, but it's about 23 degrees. So short sleeve shirt, shorts, Really warm, nice. It wouldn't be this warm back at home at this sort of altitude, I can tell you. And this is why I love Tenerife so much. Okay, just waiting for the last one to stack. So we're up to 7 now. And really seeing some really nice structure in that. Okay, so moving on, we'll tell the telescope to go and have a look at something else. So I'll just wait for this last frame to finish, and then I'll save the stacked result, and I'll post these on our Facebook site tomorrow. And if you want to, you can download them. Give you a record of what we've done. Okay, just save that. There we go. Okay. So here we go, back to what you might be able to see with the naked eye, except under very good conditions where you get a little bit more detail. I'll just bump that up. Okay. Okay, there's the telescope slewing. As you see, the stars are whizzing by in front of the telescope. It'll come to a stop in a moment, and hopefully we'll be bang on target. Fingers crossed. Famous last words and all that. Whee! Up, and there we go. There it is, almost bang in the centre. So what are we seeing there? Well, this is M57. Some of you may recognise this. This is the Ring Nebula. It's in the constellation of Lyra, the lyre or the harp, and this is a planetary nebula. A nebula is a cloud. This is a cloud of dust and gas given off by a dying star. The star is now effectively dead, and all that's left is a white dwarf right in the centre of that planetary nebula. And basically that's just the hard carbon core left after the star has died, and it's still so hot. It's white hot, so we see a very small bright white dot, but it isn't a star anymore. It's just a glowing ember of a star. Now the gas and dust that are in Lyra, in the Ring Nebula, will continue to spread out into space, and eventually will mix with other gas and dust and help to form new stars. So star dies, forms a nebula, then helps to form new stars. The circle of life of stars. Okay, let's do some live stacking and see what we can get out of this one. So this planetary nebula is 2.6 light years in diameter. Remembering that a light year is 6 trillion miles. It's quite a big thing. But it's 2,000 light years away, so that's why it appears fairly small to us. And certainly the naked eye under high magnification you'll see a smoky ring, but with the camera we'll start bringing out some colour, and we should be able to see some red around it and some blue in the centre. So here we go, we've got two stacked. And we see a definite ring forming there amongst all those lovely stars. What I'll do is I'll just make this a bit bigger. So we can get a closer look at it. And there it is. An oval shaped ring. Bluish centre. Quite a lot of red around it. Hopefully that's coming through okay on your screens. This is what will likely to happen to our sun. It will just die and go out, effectively form a white dwarf and shed off dust and gas from its atmosphere in very much the same way as this one has. But that's not going to happen for quite a long time now, so no need to panic. So where are we at now? We've got 5 stacked. We'll go for 6. Quite beautiful things, these planetary nebulas. They usually are quite colourful. Okay, just let this last one finish, and then we'll go and have a look at something else. Now, when I publish this live session, I'm hoping I'll be able to get live chat to go. So when it is up and running, I will try to do it as a live session, but with a recorded observing. If not, it'll just be something you can watch at your leisure, but unfortunately you won't be able to ask live questions as we're going. Okay, 5 seconds to go. And again, we'll download a finished image of this and put that up on the Facebook page. Anybody can download it if they want to. Okay, let's go and find another target. Alright, so what we've got here in the very centre there, or just about the centre, are 2 bright stars that are very close together. These are known as Albireo. binary star. It's not an actual binary star system, it's just two stars that happen to be, or happen to appear that they're very close together. One's actually quite a bit further away than the other one. So it's an optical double star rather than a true binary star system. The colours are what make them quite interesting. The larger, brighter one is a sort of pale golden colour, and the smaller one is quite a bright blue. These are in Cygnus the Swan, actually, or the head of the Swan, in that constellation. 430 light years away, but 30 light years apart. So not at all in the same system. Now, I don't know how these are going to live stack. I haven't tried doing that with these before, but let's have a try, see what happens. Very easy to see through a smallish telescope, and their nice colours make them probably the most popular of binary stars, or double stars, to look at. Shouldn't call it a binary because it's really just a double. Okay, so stacking's making these very, very bright, really enhancing the blue, but I don't think we're going to get much detail. It's really a bit too bright an object to use live stacking on. Let's see if we can do anything with the histogram, just to adjust what we're seeing. Yeah, that's a bit better. Don't need the stretch. Oh, that's coming through. Certainly, as you can see, a double star system, and the smaller one above the larger one is a lot bluer. Through the eyepiece, these appear much tighter points of light. The reason they're looking a bit fuzzier here is just the limitations of the small telescope we're using for the live stacking, the live imaging. Now we'll let that take one or two more. I have to say, this is a lot less stressful than the other night, trying to do it on a very iffy live connection when things just wouldn't play fair. This is much more enjoyable. Don't forget, if you have any questions, you can ask them on our Facebook site, and you can also, if you're a Twitter user, find me on Twitter as Starman Astronomy. Okay, I think it's probably time now to go and have a look at something else. Okay, so there we go in the middle. We have Messier 27, M27, or the Dumbbell or Apple Core Nebula. As you see, it's quite a large fuzzy object. That's how it will appear in a telescope. Let's see if we can get some of the nice colour out and a bit more of the detail. There we go. Just go like that. Okay, let's bring that back in a bit. So this is another planetary nebula, similar to the Ring Nebula. It's a lot closer to us, so although it's pretty much the same size, this one's around 3 light years in diameter, while the M57, the Ring Nebula, is 2.6. This is a lot closer. It's only 1360 light years away as opposed to 2000, so we get to see it as quite a much larger object and quite a much brighter object, so it's a really nice easy one to find in the sky. So this is in Vulpecula the Fox. So let's see how we're getting on with the stacking. So we've got a couple stacked, looking nice. So you can see some nice colour starting to come out, and we can see that sort of apple core shape with the red skin of the apple and the bluer white core of the apple. I think Apple Core Nebula is a much better name for this than Dumbbell Nebula, which it doesn't really look like that to me. Oh, I do wish people would come into this parking area the right way round. I've parked and positioned myself so that lights wouldn't bother us, but no, they don't seem to follow the road signs too well out here at all. So how are we looking there? What have we got? 4 stacked. And looking quite good indeed. A little bit of detail coming out of there. Quite a lot of nice coloured stars around this one as well. Got some nice oranges and reds and all sorts. Very nice. Okay, I'll just let this frame stop and we'll go for another one. A few more seconds to go and we will save this one too. There we go. Okay, folks, I'm just trying to get this into a better place on the screen. Just about there. Okay, that's going to do it. Now then, what are we looking at here, do you think? Well, it's another galaxy. It's a big galaxy, twice the size of the Milky Way, and it's what's known as an elliptical galaxy, so it's not a spiral galaxy like the Milky Way or like M51 that we looked at earlier. This is a big, almost structureless elliptical ball of stars. This is double the size of the Milky Way, 240,000 light years in diameter, but it's 54 million light years away. So a lot further away than M51, which I think, if memory, 21 million. So more than double the distance. So it looks very small and sort of fuzzy and a bit scruffy. So you might be thinking, well, why are you showing us this site? What's so important about M87? Well, Messier 87 which is in Virgo, was the galaxy where the very first image of a black hole was taken back in 2019. The reason that this galaxy was chosen to try and image its black hole was because its black hole is so big. Absolutely colossal black hole. It's 6.5 billion times the mass of our sun. 6.5 billion times the mass of our sun. Just recently you may have seen that scientists managed to image our own black hole at the centre of our galaxy, the Milky Way. Sagittarius A star. That's only 3 million times the mass of the Sun. So tiny in comparison to the black hole at the centre of M87. And it was that incredible size, even though it's a long way away, that made it easier to image. So you are, that's it. It's just a fuzzy, indistinct galaxy. Doesn't look particularly great in the telescope. Doesn't look all that great on live stacking either. But an important galaxy, one that's in the record books. The very first black hole imaged. Just like this. Capture finish, and then we'll move on to something a bit more exciting. There we go. Don't forget to download it. Great. Back to focus. What? Okay, the camera's off moving, you probably see, got quite a way to travel. So next thing we're going to have a look at is another nebula. This, however, is not a planetary nebula. This is the other kind of nebula. This is a nebula that gives birth to stars. So this is at the other end of the life cycle of stars to the two nebulae that we've already seen tonight. This is a cloud of gas and dust where new stars are being formed. So the one we're going to look at tonight is Messier 16, or the Eagle Nebula. It's in the constellation of Serpens. Yeah, looks like the telescope has got us pretty close. So let's just switch over to the live view, and I'll tell you a bit more about this while it's developing the image on the screen. Okay, so sometimes called the Star Queen Nebula, and you can probably just see there's a bit of fuzziness up there around those bright clusters of stars. Well, those bright clusters of stars are new stars being formed from this huge cloud of nebula, nebulous gas and dust, left over from the start of the universe and from the death of previous generations of stars. So that dust and gas that we saw coming out of M57 and M27, well, that's all gas and dust that eventually makes its way to meet up with other gas and dust and produce new stars. Oh, I must have just kicked the tripod there because we've got a bit of blurring going on. Stars are trailing. Check, I've got a cable snagged. Something's happened. So our duration of 30 seconds for live stacking on this object is too long, and we're seeing star trailing. Basically, we're looking in the opposite direction to the pole star, and the stars appear to move faster the further south you look. So it's not good enough for us to go as high as 30 seconds, so we'll drop it down to 20 seconds and we should hopefully get tighter stars, not get the trailing. Just repositioned it slightly as well so that it's in a better position, and let's see how we go on with this one. Okay, so it's believed this nebula is about 5.5 million years old, so the stars we're seeing there in the centre, they're very new stars. 5.5 million versus 4.5 billion for the age of our parent star, the Sun. And the nebula will continue making new stars until there isn't enough gas left. Now, if anybody ever saw the Pillars of Creation photograph that Hubble did quite some time ago, a very famous picture actually showing these clouds of gas and dust collapsing to form these really, really hot, brand new stars. This is where it was in this nebula. So you can probably see now we're getting quite a bit of red showing through in the dust. This is due to the type of gas that's in that cloud. In this case, a lot of hydrogen. So what we're seeing is light in the hydrogen alpha wavelength coming off it, and that predominantly shows up as red. So we've got about 7 stacked, and going up quite nicely. I'll let that run for a little bit longer, and I'll just go and have a drink of water. Okay, well, I hope that's coming through okay. I can see quite a lot of red around that bright cluster of stars, bit of nebulousness, and I can actually see some of the darker structure in there that actually are those pillars of creation that Hubble imaged. So we'll see when I get it back and get it processed, and I'll get it uploaded to the Facebook site. I'll actually put an arrow on to show you exactly where they are in case it's hard for you to spot them here. Okay, last frame coming in now, and then we'll move it on. Four, 3, 2, 1, done. Okay, remember to save the image. And off we go to another one. Okay, we'll just get this next one centered. Might be able to see that coming in from the top right now. Even at just a couple of seconds of exposure, you can see some structure in there. It's a 50-50 guess which button to press to move it, and I seem to always go the wrong way. I should have learned by now, really. think that would be good enough. Okay. Let's see what comes out of this. Alright, so we've got another nebula here. Another planet-forming nebula. So similar to M16. This is fairly close by to M16, which was in Serpens near Scorpio. This is in Sagittarius. This is Messier 20. Oh, there we go. Nice. And it's called the Trifid Nebula. Not because it looks like the mythical Trifid plant from the John Wyndham novels, but because through a telescope you can sometimes see it as three lobes of gas, trifid. Apparently, not that my Latin's great. This is 42 light years in diameter, so pretty large, at remembering 6 trillion miles per light year. And it's a star-forming nebula. It's 5,200 light years away, so it's a heck of a long way away. Now, I say it's a heck of a long way away. It's a long way away in our galaxy, but as we were seeing previously, other galaxies are millions of light years away. Millions of light years. So everything other than other galaxies that we see are in our own Milky Way. So all the stars, the planets, the nebulae, the star clusters, they're all in our own galaxy, the Milky Way. And this is looking really nice coming through. I can see, I don't know if you can see, there's red, the top right, and then the lower left, blue gas clouds, and some dark structure in. That's the dust. That's the dust being pulled together by gravity, and will form the nucleus of stars and planets, of course. So remembering that all these stars we can see in this image, or any of the images we've looked at, have planets going around them. Beautiful, colourful nebula, this one to look at. So we're going to stay with it for a bit longer and pull a bit more of that colour out, and some more of that detail, and see the dark areas quite nicely now. Okay, let's save that one. It looks pretty nice. Save the result. And let's go and find something else. Right, this one might be a bit tricky to find, so it might be a few moments. Okay, well I found that quite easily. This is always good. Let's just see if I can get it a bit closer to the centre. Here we go. Little fuzzy blob you can see there. Alright. Okay, a little fuzzy blob. Left hand side just below centre. Let's get live study and see what we can find. Okay, so there we go. There's the first stack complete. And I think you can probably make that out. That is a comet, everybody. That is a comet. So you can see the bright nucleus, and then you can see the corona coming off it. And it's the corona that produces the trail, the tail of a comet. Okay, now this comet is called C for comet / 2019 K2. Yep, I know. Really, sorry, 2017 K2, Pan Stars. 2017 because that was when it was first spotted. It's the furthest comet to have been spotted, way out beyond the orbit of Saturn, so over 1 billion miles away when it was first spotted. and it's actually heading in towards the sun, and it's gone past the Earth. Went past the Earth on the 14th of July, so that was when it was at its closest to us. It's now heading in towards the sun. And one of the reasons for showing you this is if you don't get to see it this time, I'm afraid you're not going to see it again, because this comet has been travelling for 3 million years to get here. So that's what astronomers are saying. It's taken 3 million years, so I'm certainly not going to be here on Earth 3 million years to see it when it next comes round. Anyway, it's about 172 million miles away from us at the moment. The core of the comet, it's quite a large comet, it's about 11 miles in diameter, could be bigger. And the coma that we're seeing, the fuzzy bit, well, that's 10 times the diameter of the Earth. So that'll give you a bit of a clue to how big this thing is. That's 10 times the size of our planet. So it should reach closest point around the sun on the 19th of December. Hopefully it makes it around the sun unscathed. Sometimes they don't. And then it'll be heading back out of our solar system and never to be seen again, I would suggest, by humankind. But you never know. So there we have it. Comet C/2017/K2. Pan-STARRS. Pan-STARRS comes in brackets after the comet. All that tells us is that it was the Pan-STARRS monitoring observatory that searches for comets that actually discovered this one. There are quite a few observatories around the world that specialise in looking for and tracking comets. So there we have it. There it is. There's the comet. Nice fuzzy, nice coma. Happy days. Always good to see a comet. Nice shooting star just went over. Okay, this is probably a bit too small an object for the camera setup that we've got. You might be able to make out this is actually Saturn. There it is, you can probably just make out that is Saturn. See if I can adjust it anymore. So hopefully you can just make out there the elliptical shape of Saturn's rings. I am planning to do a live session specifically on planets where I'll use a lot more magnification. Need a different camera and a different setup. There we are at the moment. That's Saturn. Okay. Okay, one more object for tonight's session, and this is a star cluster, globular star cluster. There it is, M13, the great globular star cluster in Hercules. So let's get live stacking this. Right, so we're back pointing towards the pole star, so the sky doesn't appear to revolve as quickly there. So we're going to increase this back to 30 seconds. Okay. There we go. So M13, great globular star cluster in Hercules, is a tight ball of stars. Looks like a football of stars, or some people often say looks like you're flying over a city at night. Lots of these globular star clusters around, and they contain between thousands of stars and millions of stars. And here we go, starting to see those stars come out Quite often in a telescope it just looks like a fuzzy ball with the odd individual star around the edge. What the live stacking allows us to do is get some more definition in there, see more and more of those stars, and hopefully get some colour coming through. So Messier 13. This one's between 22 and 25,000 light years away. In the constellation Hercules, as I've already mentioned. Several 100,000 stars, maybe 300,000 stars in this one, and it's 160 light years in diameter. And these are some of the oldest objects we see in our galaxy. They're estimated to be about 11 billion years old. And most of the stars in them that you see are old stars. They're stars that are late in life, so they tend to be orangey red. Colour of stars tells us where they are in their life cycle. If they're orangey red, they're getting towards the end. If they're bluey white, they're right at the start. So that's coming through really nicely. You can see that really dense core of stars in the centre, which you can never resolve into individual stars because the stars are so tightly packed together. But as you come out from the centre, we can start to see the individual stars around that tight packed core. A bit of a mystery, globular clusters. Scientists aren't very sure why they form like this, how they formed, whether they are the remains of small galaxies that have been absorbed by the Milky Way and had the majority of their outer stars pulled away and joined in with the rest of the structure of the Milky Way. Nobody's really sure. There don't seem to be black holes at the centre of these, or certainly one hasn't been detected as yet. And it's believed galaxies need a black hole to form, so how these balls of stars have formed, like I say, is still a bit of a mystery. Anyway, that's the last object for this evening. So I'm going to sign off now. I'll leave this one collecting for a bit more. Once again, this will be an image that will go up on our Facebook page once I'm finished and once I've had a bit of a sleep. And I'll announce when that's going on, and the images that we've captured tonight will be available for download. Okay, everyone, I hope you've enjoyed this. Certainly, from my perspective, it's gone a lot better than the other night. And over time, I'm sure I'll get even better at this and a bit slicker, and we'll get to see a few more targets, maybe. Okay, everyone, watch out for the planetary session, which will be coming up in the next week or so. Cheers. Bye-bye. Clear skies, everyone.